Welcome to cigarsuckers.com. Today I'm going to talk about the various cutters and punches that you can use to cut your cigar so you can enjoy that next great smoke. So the first type is called a guillotine cutter. This is a double guillotine, so there's two blades that cut the cigar. This is a stainless one. They come in different shapes and sizes. This one has a heavier weight to it. And then there's the fancy cigar cutters that not only cut your cigar, but will act as a holder as well. Then there is the V cutter, and it acts the same way as a guillotine, but it cuts out a little V-shaped opening in the top of the cigar. Then we're going to talk about some punches. This is a traditional punch. You can use it to make a hole in the top of the cigar if you like just a little bit of that tip gone so you can enjoy the cigar. As well as punches that are on the ends of lighters. This one retracts back underneath and you would hold it against the cigar to punch the hole. So let me show you how each of these is used. We'll start with the guillotine cutter. And I'm just going to start with the basic, inexpensive stainless guillotine. You put your thumb and your forefinger in the holes to allow you to open and close the cutter. You take your cigar, and you want to be careful how much of the cap you remove. There is a beautiful cap at the top of a cigar, and if you cut too much of it off, you will end up losing your cap. So basically you just take your cigar, and depending on how much of the end you like cut off, you'll stick it in there, squeeze the blades with your thumb and forefinger, and you have the tip of your cigar removed so you can smoke it. Now for a punch. Oh, we'll do the V cutter. The V cutter is really neat. It is getting really popular nowadays. It's kind of made its own comeback. And this one has a divot in the center so that it prevents a lot of the cigar from being cut off. And again, you hold it with your thumb and your forefinger. And depending on the ring gauge of the cigar, that's the width of the cigar, most of them will fit in here. So you want to put this end of the cigar into the divot, squeeze with your forefinger and thumb as you're firmly holding the cigar in place. And you hear that clip. And there is a V-shaped piece of the cigar missing. I don't know if you can make that out. That's a little crooked there, but there is a V shape missing from the tip. And this has become very popular because it doesn't take off the whole cap, so you don't get a lot of the tobacco leaf in your mouth. So that's the V cutter. And then the punch. This is a traditional punch. You can use just like that. And there's a retractable punch. Now this one, you press in and it locks the blade in place. Then you press the release button and it retracts back in. And these two are great options because they have keychains on the end, so you can hook them onto your keys, or this one's really light. You can just throw it in your pocket or keep it in your car. So with the punch, let's use this one. I like to turn it around on here because it's longer, gives me a firmer grip. You want to take the end of the punch and you want to hold your cigar towards the cap. Hold it firmly, and then you take the punch and you're going to press it into the cap, and you want to twist as you do this. And after it's gone all the way in, you pull it out, and you have a hole-shaped punch a circular punch on the top of your cigar. Now this is the way I prefer to smoke my cigars. I like the punch on the top. Then what you do with these is you turn it around, and this is like a little plunger, and the little cap comes out, the little circle comes out. There are also punches that end up on the, this is a lighter that has two different size punches at the bottom. So they lock into place this way, and then you can just take your cigar and do the hole in the top. And so there's one large one and one small one on the bottom of this one. There's also some fun cutters out there, some guillotines that you press a button and the blades come out, and then you can just cut your cigar. You'd hold it in your hand and stick the end of the cigar in, and then you'd cut that way. Those are always fun. When you're working with unusual cigar shapes, this is a torpedo, you don't want to use a punch because it doesn't work real well, and the V cutter doesn't exactly work with a torpedo head. So your only choice, and please don't be like Clint Eastwood and bite off the cap, your only choice for a torpedo is a guillotine cutter. Now with the guillotine, you want to make sure that you don't cut off too much. If you're not sure how much of the top that you would like, the cap you would like cut off, then you want to start at the very end. Hold the guillotine between your thumb and forefinger, stick just a little bit of the cigar in there, squeeze it, and you get a nice even cut. And then if you decide that you want more cut off, then you can always go down a little further and make a second cut. So we have talked about guillotine cutters. Come in different shapes and sizes. We have talked about punches that also come on the bottom of cigar lighters. That's very convenient. And we talked about the V cutter. So depending on which way you like to cut your cigar, there's one other cigar cutter out there. It's called a scissors cutter. I do not use that one. Don't really like it. Those are really big and bulky to carry around with me. My favorite is the punch because it doesn't take off too much of the cap and you don't get a lot of this loose tobacco in your mouth. So all of these are available at cigarsuckers.com. Stop by and take your pick and enjoy it with your next great smoke. Thanks a lot.